It's Greg Harrelson here, and I've got Brendon Payne with me. We're both with C21 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I got this interesting question that has been coming up over and over, and I thought that I'd ask you, since you sell a lot of properties, and just see what your thoughts are. And the question is from people that are thinking about selling. They're constantly being marketed to, and they're getting postcards, mailers, and e-blasts, and they're seeing things like, I'm the #1 agent, I'm the best agent for the job. Listen, there can only be one #1. So it gets kind of overwhelming and confusing for the consumer. So if you're that seller, if you're talking to that seller, what can you tell them? How are they really going to choose an agent, and how do they decipher who's really legitimate and who's just trying to make themselves look maybe better than their track record actually shows?
Sure, and you mentioned there can only be one #1, which is an absolutely true statement, but depending on how many ways that you slice something, then you can eventually find a way that every person or company can probably be #1. And what I would say is important is that the consumer, the seller, what I ask them is, what's most important to you? And figure out what is your #1. What's most important as far as what you're looking for in an agent, what you're looking for in production, and what you're looking for in results. Now, when you actually, most consumers, most sellers are going to say, well, I want somebody that's going to sell my property in the time frame that I want it for the highest amount of money that's possible. And I think everybody be on the same page for that. So assuming that that's their goal, then what you're going to want to look for is you're going to want to look for actual results. And by results, you have to be careful and not look at just what somebody sends you on a spreadsheet of a bunch of individual, sales transactions, because it's interesting. We've seen some of the marketing that our competitors, send out,
yes.
and some of it goes back 10, 12 years in order to get enough data to where they can compare it to someone else's maybe 3 or 4 year window, and obviously that doesn't, they don't really equate. They're not apples to apples. So the key that you're looking for if you're wanting to sell in the reasonable amount of time for the most amount of money is someone who is negotiating a lot of deals in this market right now that we've been in for the last several years. And you're going to also want to look for what type of referrals do they have? Who do they have as past clients that are happy with their performance? Not only that they got the job done, but that they got the job done and took care of them through the process. They didn't leave them wondering what was going on. They had good communication, and that they had a good support team behind them so that the agent was able to go out and do their job of selling while their support team was able to do the job that they needed to do to service the client.
Well, that's some great information, and I think a great point. I guess anyone can find something to be #1
Sure.
at. And so what it all revolves back down to is you, the consumer. What are you looking to accomplish? What is your #1? What's important to you? So that's going to ultimately be determined by a conversation that you have with your real estate agent. So if there's anything we can do for you, I'm Greg Harrelson with C21. We have Brendon Payne also with C21. Just let us know. We're here for you.